Now, for the latest, we are now joined via Skype from New Delhi, India, by journalist Sagarneel Sinha. Sagarneel, good evening and thank you for joining us on The Globe this evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Now, Sagarneel, we understand that people in India's capital are slowly returning to areas that were hardest hit by the recent violence. Is this the case?
Yes, normalcy is returning to New Delhi after being hit by riots for 2 days. Normalcy has returned. Instead, India's National Security Advisor, Novel Ajit Doval, has visited the areas, and since after his visit, normalcy has started to return.
Now, do we know why these clashes are mostly prevalent in New Delhi?
The reason for protest, as I said earlier in my interviews too, that it's the constant fear-mongering of the Indian Muslims by a section of leftist intellectuals and obviously the opposition parties. But the problem here is that earlier Indian citizenship law doesn't take the citizenship of any Indian Muslim. But on the other hand, there is a widespread fear among the Muslims that their citizenship would be taken away. As a result, they have been organizing sitting protests in Shaheen Bagh of Delhi for 70 days, over 70 days, and this has led to roadblocks in the area of Shaheen Bagh, which is situated in Delhi. And due to this, local business has suffered a lot. Local market traders say that the local market has instead suffered around over more than 1 billion rupees. This is the market loss which the local traders are saying to the news reporters. So already Delhi is being converted into a time-ticking bomb. And if this was not enough, on Saturday in northeast Delhi, where actually the riots took place, an area called Jafrabad, hundreds of anti-CA protesters, mostly Muslims, they wanted to create another Shaheen Bagh, and this led to violence, protests from the pro-CA supporters. As a result, both clashed, and this ultimately resulted into Hindu-Muslim riots in the northeast parts of Delhi.
Now, Sagarneel, how are the authorities and police handling these latest developments? They are accused of standing by and just watching.
Initially, there are allegations that Delhi police didn't act well. However, there is another angle which I do think is that at that time, US President Donald Trump was visiting India. So the Modi government, after all, Delhi police comes under the Modi government. They didn't want any high-handedness control of the protest, because last time too in December, anti-CA protesters, students of Jamia Millia University, were handled by Delhi police, and which was criticized by the same people who were questioning that where is Delhi police. They criticized Delhi police, and as a result of that, protests were spread. The fire of protest spread across India. So Modi government actually didn't want that when Donald Trump was visiting. And another thing was that intelligence failure is clearly visible. Delhi police actually failed. However, as I said earlier, now after the visit of NSA Ajit Doval, situation has been returning to normalcy, and already 630 people are being detained, and overall more than 130 cases of FIRs have been registered. Also, importantly, an FIR has been registered against the reputed Wall Street Journal for spreading fake news.
Now, this must be causing some serious tensions in broader society and threatening to divide India into two sides. Is this not a major concern?
Yes, this is a concern, but let me say that India is a pluralistic country, and in a country like India, such concerns always do exist because divisions between Muslims and Hindus, a minority Muslims and the majority Muslims, have been existing from the past, and especially after this anti-CA protests where Muslims are leading, and on the other side, Hindus, majority of the Hindus strongly supporting CA. So this has led to a division. But again, let me say that India has been a pluralistic country which is practicing pluralism for thousands of years. India didn't abandon it even at the most of the difficult times, like in 1947 when Pakistan was created. And you see, Pakistan abandoned pluralism and it constitutionally became an Islamic country. On the other hand, India has remained a secular country, and pluralism has been its most important feature, where whether most people of the country, whether Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, Jains, they have been adhering to this pluralism, to this idea of pluralism. So obviously, present time is also difficult, but India will definitely overcome. But again, another thing is that Delhi is just a place, or is just a part of India. So riots aren't happening all over India, and even in Delhi too, riots happened only in northeast Delhi.
Now, what's the government of Prime Minister Narendra Modi saying about these serious developments?
Actually, the government hasn't it was, as I said earlier, it was actually busy, especially Prime Minister Modi was busy with US President Donald Trump, who was on a state visit for 2 days, on a 2-day state visit. However, afterwards, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has appealed for peace, and as I said, that already the government, the administration is now taking strict measures, which I have mentioned earlier too, and there have been strict orders of shootout to any protester who is trying to disturb the areas.
Now, Indian police say they have arrested more than 600 people for deadly Hindu-Muslim violence that broke out in the capital. Have these numbers been confirmed?
Actually, whatever number I have said is based on a report of a national daily. Numbers are actually, it's yesterday's number actually. So numbers do increase. So there are, because some reports say that it's over 400, some say over 600. So numbers are increasing because a lot, as you know, more from both Hindus and Muslims, they took part in the riots. So definitely it was a large number. So, and identification is going on. And Delhi police or the administration is now actually taking strict measures. So the numbers will obviously come.
Sagarneel, thank you so much for joining us. We'll leave it there for now. That is Indian journalist Sagarneel Sinha, and he was joining us via Skype. Time now for a quick break. More news when we return.